Me Winehouse. Now listen, before we get into a little bit of football banter, Big Dunk, you know, we for those out there in listener land, we normally meet maybe it's about 2 o'clock, 2:15 on a Saturday afternoon, and we'll do a little bit of preparation, we'll have a little bit of boys banter, a little bit of chat and that. Me and the Flying Pig were there probably till about 10 to 2, Flying Pig, and then says, well, where's Big Dunk? And then we looked over and
10 to 3, you mean?
10 to 3, sorry, yeah. And where was he?
I was talking to a couple of chicas.
He was.
Hang on a minute, they were showing me a video, man, of a woman.
Very well.
Hang on a minute, man.
What's that?
Listen fella, Big Dunk. It's Saturday afternoon, it's
Stitching
football. Next thing you'll be telling us you'll be watching the royal wedding.
I had a nosy at it, yeah. I was looking for bridesmaids, you know.
He's sitting with 2 birds on a Saturday afternoon.
But he wasn't near the
Football.
telly watching wedding. I'll give him his due there.
Thank you.
Mind you, actually, I didn't see him close up, but from a distance, I don't blame him.
They look very nice.
I know a few people.
Very guapa. Who were they then?
No
Big
idea.
Dunk? They were. As he says, as his wife tunes into the show. Who were they? Give them a mention.
No idea, mate.
Ah!
Just they were showing me a video. They said, look at, they were dressed all in for wedding and all that, and the cleaner woman that works here in the toilets, they put a mask on her of whoever it is that's got married today. I can't even.
Harry Hewitt, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And she was dancing. They just showed me a video. They thought it was very funny.
Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
God, Flying Pig, Saturday afternoon football.
He never invited us over though, did he?
No, he didn't. I noticed that, and he never bought a drink either.
2 of them, one of him.
I know.
Yeah.
What him both to himself.
Are we moving on?
Don't you think that's a bit greedy?
We'll have to move on. It's football. You've already mentioned the royal wedding. You're sitting with 2 chicas. You haven't bought a drink. You've went right down in our estimation, Big Dunk.
To the bathroom. I try to look at it, someone grabs me. I'm a friendly guy.
Grabs you. Listen, England World Cup squad. What do you think, lads?
Well, don't fill me with a lot of confidence.
I think it's so inexperienced, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that midfield. I was looking. Do you know what?
Well, do you want to go through it? Do you want to go through
Yeah,
it?
I've got it right in front of me.
Right, and
Yeah.
I've got
mine
some.
on
I have
here,
as
yeah.
Right, well, we'll set off with goalkeepers, eh?
Right.
Okay.
Right, we'll start at the back and go forward. I mean,
Why don't we start with the manager? How inexperienced is he? He hasn't done anything, has he?
well, no,
He's the best of a bad lot. There isn't really, there isn't the characters, the English characters. I mean, I said to you last week, you know, I'd prefer to see someone. You're going to probably shoot us down here, but like someone like the Burnley manager,
Dyche.
Sean Dyche.
I think he's amazing.
I mean,
he's a great
you
manager.
know, the job he's done. I don't think Southgate's got a lot of personality. The one thing I have to
No
agree with him.
personality.
I have to agree with him that he came out this week and my jaw dropped. Big Dunk Flying Pig, and he says he's going to allow the lads to drink on holiday.
Yeah.
He says they're not youngsters, they're not 17-year-olds, they're adult lads, and he's going to allow them to do what they want. Now let's talk about that first of all. You mentioned the manager. I think that's scandalous.
well, can you imagine letting Sterling go out drinking after the escapades he got off with a couple of years ago?
Absolutely. I mean, you could say that about a lot of them.
They were saying that they've tried everything out there, different, under Capello and under who is it, Ericsson. They were saying that, you know, some were strict, some were so you could have your girlfriend, you couldn't have your girlfriend, you could have a drink, you couldn't have a drink, you had to sit together, it was regimented. It's like, you know, does any of it really matter? That's it. They've tried everything, haven't they? In England still haven't been successful, have they, for a long time?
Probably because we're just not good enough.
Yeah, and when you look at that squad, it doesn't. I mean, I was looking at the squad from, if I was to read some of it out to you, from like 2000, 2004. I mean, how we didn't win anything back then in them 2000s. Just some of the players that were in there.
Gascoigne,
You know,
yeah.
we got Wayne Bridge, Sol Campbell, Jamie Carragher, Ashley Cole, Ledley King, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, John Terry, Beckham, Butt, Joe Cole, Kieran Dyer, Stephen Gerrard, Owen Hargreaves, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, you know, Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney, Esky, and you know, there's a few more.
Wayne Rooney in his day.
And I mean, some of them players there, you know, especially for the clubs, that's the thing though, isn't it? They did well for the clubs, but for some reason a lot of them just don't do it when they get to England. And I think that I used to be right into England years ago, and then I started giving up a bit, to be honest, because it used to they used to come across like they had an attitude of just turning up and thinking they had every right to be there and it was going to be a stroll. And I don't think I've enjoyed watching England since Venables. You know, since that was at Euro '96. It was, you know, it was fantastic back then. And it just, I don't know, they've just never looked like being bothered for me for a long time. You know, and
I think it all fell to pieces when it was played about 16, 17 years ago now, when the England players got together. And bearing in mind these are guys on 40, 50 grand a week, and they demanded a certain payment to play for England.
which
I
is a
think
joke.
I think it fell down then. There shouldn't be
Yeah.
any payments
No,
to play
it
for
should be a
England.
privilege, shouldn't it?
But you know, you've mentioned that list of players, and you know, to be honest, I can't believe that England didn't win anything in those days. They were superstars. We haven't got any Beckhams in this team. We haven't got any Gascoignes. We haven't got any Lampards.
No.
We haven't got any Gerrards in this team.
No.
This team, to coin a phrase that we mentioned a few minutes ago, looks a bit boring, to be perfectly
It
honest.
does look boring, but then again, we had all them, say, if you want to call them glamour players or players that you expected to do stuff before. Maybe now that the expectations are on them, maybe it won't be as bad as we think. That's
They
the
might
only
not.
hope that I can go for.
They might go out and shock you.
I mean, Gerrard, he didn't do anything, did he, for England, really? I don't think. And, you know, he was our main man, isn't he? But
He was still one of the best players I've seen.
him and Lampard
Yeah.
didn't seem to...
They
work.
didn't gel together, did
No.
they? They didn't gel together. Dele Alli, you know, if he gets his act together, and Eric Dyer in the midfield, two Tottenham guys that's done really, really well. Your man at Liverpool, Jordan Henderson. I think it's a decent midfield there. But
Who's going to put them balls through, though? Where's your Shelby? You know, where's someone like that?
Well, as you know what I feel about Shelby, I think he should have been in there. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, what do you think about him? I think is he a little bit... He hasn't done absolute wonders, has he, this season? He's had a few very, very good games in the last 5 or 6 games of the season. Does he deserve to be in there? That was one of the surprises, Flying Pig.
It was, yeah. You'd have never dreamt, would you, that he'd have been in here. I mean, I bet there's lots of people that watch football, you know, just not really into it, football, but probably don't know who the hell he is. They probably wouldn't, if they put his face on screen, they probably wouldn't even know who he is. But, you know, Southgate must have seen
Just
something.
the
somebody
midfield,
else
I
doesn't.
just think the midfield, I don't think it looks a great midfield.
But I mean, Dele Alli, right, we'll go to Dele Alli.
I like that.
Great player, Dele Alli, but for me, he doesn't do it week in, week out.
No.
It's you know, when he's on form, there's no finer player than him.
Who's the best
games.
midfielder amongst that lot?
Well, you guys would have to say Jordan Henderson.
I know, but you know, Jordan, he's all right, he's Jordan. I think he's got better, honestly. I really do. But some of his passing can be... I used to call him 5-yard because all his passes were always 5 yards and they were either sideways or backwards.
Yeah, right.
And there was a statistic on Sky Sports News, I think it was last season, how he was up in like one of the most completed passes of the ball in the Premier League. And I remember screaming at the telly saying, that's because he's passing it back to his centre-backs all the time.
Yeah.
But I think he's grown with a bit more confidence now, you know. But I think your non-Liverpool fans, I don't think they're going to be overly really excited about him. But
Jesse Lingard.
Again,
I think he's... Sorry, go on.
Again, for me, he's a bit like Dele Alli. He doesn't do it every week for me.
No, I think Manchester United fans would probably say the same, like we're saying about Henderson. Maybe they would say the same about Lingard. I'm not sure.
I mean, there's experience now. Don't look at the screen, Dunk. I'm just going to throw this at you. The midfielders: Dele Alli, Delph, Dyer, Henderson, Lingard, Loftus-Cheek.
Before you even asked me, I've got no idea.
They've all played for England. Obviously, there's about 100 caps, more than 100 caps, about 120 caps between them. How many goals have they scored for England? 120 caps. Have a guess.
32.
3.
Shuts up.
No,
Three.
six, Scotty.
Oh, sorry, I did miss
6.
that. Yeah,
Honestly,
I missed that.
I've
6.
You know, years
6
ago,
goals.
Years ago, I used to be right into England, but I haven't watched a single international friendly of this
No, I
this
think
campaign.
it's so boring.
It's dreadful. It's just when it's on, when the domestic football stops, the international breaks, they're so tedious. I just can't watch England play. I will watch them at the tournament. You know, I'll always watch them in the tournaments, in the finals, like the Euros.
Why
the
did
World
they
Cup.
scrap the home internationals?
Uh,
Is there any football
I
fan
guess they would say.
listening that why did they scrap the home internationals?
I guess they would probably say because of risk of trouble or something like that. Maybe.
No, there was never any real trouble at the international. Even the big game, I think it's 76 or 77. The Scots fans on the pitch, okay, they dug a little bit of Wembley up. It was actually getting dug up anyway and relayed, and they broke a goalpost. But there was no real violence.
Would you say you're still as passionate about England today as you were
Well,
20 years ago?
I'm a Scotland fan, so
Oh, well, that's...
so I'm definitely not
all right, then.
passionate about England.
No way.
And I think that is probably as a result of the demise of the home internationals. The home internationals. You're a little bit younger than us.
A little quite
Can
bit,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
remember the home internationals?
No,
You can't remember them.
I don't even
Oh,
know.
they were great.
I've
Oh,
never
they were
never
fantastic.
saw
They
them.
were fiery affairs.
Oh, they were brilliant. I mean, you know, competition. And now what do they do? They
Well,
have a friendly against Moldova.
It's
and nobody's
ridiculous, isn't
interested.
it? Nobody won't even watch. I won't
No-
watch any. I won't
nobody's
watch any
interested.
of the friendlies.
It's,
But when was the last time you actually Flying Pig? When was the last time you enjoyed watching England play? Where you watched them and thought, yes,
I can't remember. Probably 1966 World Cup
yeah,
final.
yeah.
No, hey, listen, even I can't remember that. Even I can't remember
96
that.
I mean, under Venables, and I thought they were fantastic. They were
Yeah, they were,
brilliant.
yeah.
That Euro 96.
At least
was
they
a
were
great
entertaining, weren't
Yeah,
they?
they were entertaining.
Bobby
they
Robson
scored.
getting them to the
And
semi-finals.
they had players, exactly, they had players that seemed like they wanted to play, but especially you're saying there about 1990, was it?
1996,
Yeah.
the Gascoigne era.
I was absolute school at that when we got to
How old were you then, Dunk?
1990, I was 15 at that World Cup. Yeah.
No, but 1996 was the big Euro.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was brilliant.
When Gascoigne done the
That was all that was in
chair
England,
and-
wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
fantastic.
mean, that was
They-
brilliant
them
football.
players then, though.
Shearer scored I remember England took Holland to the cleaners. Everybody was saying, I think it was in the quarter-finals, and England beat them 3-1.
Amazing.
I think that was the last era where I really enjoyed watching England. It had something to do with Gascoigne and Beardsley and
Oh.
Waddle and Geordie lads, you know.
Yeah.
And listen, I hate to say this, but if there's no Geordies in an England team, then
Well,
I'm
you-
really not interested.
Listen, you look at that squad, right, and you tell me what players jump out at you as being passionate like some of those players that we used to get in those tournaments back then.
None.
Who would you look at there that you know that if someone kicks off, he's going to be stuck in? You can't see it. I'm not saying that none of them are proud to play for the country or anything like that, but it doesn't seem like we've got anyone that's like an enforcer, that anyone that's good at, where's your ins, where's your peers, where's your...
The only one I would say that's in that bracket that you've just described,
Yeah.
Big Dom, is probably Harry Maguire from Leicester. When the trouble starts, he'll
Yeah.
be there. He's a big lad. But I'll tell you something else. I don't think he's got the talent to play.
Where's your
he's
leaders?
a
You know,
decent
where's your
stopper.
leaders?
But I just don't think he's that standard
Yeah.
of player to get into an England squad. I mean, there's a few in there that I would sort of pick up. The standbys, some of the standbys, we've never heard of them. Lewis Cook for Bournemouth, Tom Heaton for Burnley, James Taukowski for Burnley.
But maybe we're just, maybe the fact that we're all being so negative and hard on them is maybe they might just, maybe this is the first time I think where I thought they've got no chance. You always, I think in previous tournaments I've thought, we've got no chance, but I try to pretend that we have. You try and convince yourself. You get caught up in it all when everyone's getting all psyched up, but this is the first time I've really thought, oh, this is terrible.
You've got to say one thing though, that Southgate this time has come out and said, right, that's it. I'm not going to go all the years that I've been watching England in the past, they've always had at least 3 or 4 players, 4, 5 players, 6 players in the squad that have been getting on, they've been about for years and years, have had the experience, and then sides have been picked, and the press said, oh, well, they've got him and he's passed his best and this and that, and he's not done it this time. He's gone for youth and that's it. So
well,
we'll
listen,
have to wait and see.
let's give him a break. Let's certainly
it's
give
not
him
their
a
fault,
break.
is it? It's not their fault.
Yeah.
And isn't this the bigger picture is also maybe because the Premier League's flooded with so many foreigners, and this is the result of it.
That's a possible result as well. Listen, we've just went over the first half hour of the show. I think it's time to take a little bit of music. We can discuss this when we come back. But as I say, let's take a wee bit more music.
Follow us now at Cool FM.
I thought that was a cat screaming then when
It
you started
was
singing.
fantastic. Dido, or she's known as in her nickname, Dickie Dido. You heard?
The airs from the Dickie.
Hey, whoa!
There's a joke in there somewhere.
That's the old rugby song. She married an Italian with like a flippin' stallion. And the hair's on her. Yeah. Okay, we'll not mention that. We'll not mention Dickie Didos today. What we're mentioning today at this particular point is Lanuthia. If you weren't with us last Sunday, Flying Pig, Big Dunk wasn't. I think he was away with them two girls in the bar, you know. I don't know, he didn't turn up, but we had a great day, didn't we?
I just hope the lassie's not listening.
Yeah, but apparently I did well to miss it because I hear the weather was a bit...
It was freezing,
Yeah.
and I tell you what was the worst game I've seen this season.
It was
Wasn't good, no?
Not good.
absolute garbage,
Oh,
wasn't it?
right.
And they got beat. Was it 1-0?
1-0,
1-0. Yeah. And fortunately, Elche beat Eldense, who was in 5th place,
Right.
and Lanuthia made the playoffs.
Elche won 3-0, so...
3-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
So
was. We had a good party, a good celebration.
Good
of course.
crowd. Good crowd. no
A
attendance.
little bit disappointing. We were
Was it?
expecting about 4,000 or 5,000. I think there was about 2,500.
Aye.
Yeah.
A little bit disappointing. Playoff game tomorrow. Flying Pig. Who we're playing tomorrow?
Escobedo.
Escobedo from Cantabria. And for those of you who don't know your Spanish geography, that's right up by the Basque Country, Big Dunk.
All right,
About
okay.
2 hours from San Sebastian, about an hour from Santander. Now I've heard that the Lanuthia, obviously the game's at home this week. Very, very good team, but not a wonderful stadium, Flying Pig. You've done a little research on it.
Yeah, just looking at the stadium, it's very poor. It's only got a capacity of 2,000. It's no stands round it. It looks like
Amateurs.
it looks like something that me and you would play on at United Park back in
Look at
Newcastle
that
or
compared to
Liverpool
what
or
Lanusia's
Lancaster.
facilities are absolutely amazing. I was up there earlier, obviously, as you know, I was getting them tickets. And it was busy up there again, you know, we've got all them young kids on them different fields of different age groups. And
Talking of tickets,
Yes.
Big Dunk,
Yes.
we have 25 free tickets. It's a
Yes.
tenner tomorrow to get in. If you're a Cool FM listener listening in at this moment and you want to go to the game tomorrow, free tickets courtesy of Cool FM. They can be collected at the Union Jack Bar in Benidorm or the Hotel Molly. Okay, now we'll be dropping these off after the game, so don't go
After the show.
After the show, sorry.
No good after the game.
No, absolutely right. And we will be finishing at 5:30 tonight because there's no football.
Yes.
In case you didn't know, Celtic are now 2-0 up against Motherwell, by the way. So we will be dropping these tickets off at the Hotel Molly and the Union Jack Bar within about an hour. If you want to go to the match tomorrow and you're a little bit of a tight bugger and you want to keep €10 in your pocket, come to the Union Jack Bar or the Hotel Molly. I will say, however, children go free. Under 18s are free into the ground tomorrow. So let's have a massive
And you
crowd.
don't get stressed out about going. I said this before, sometimes people get a bit, you know, like they think that they don't speak the lingo and all that. But it really is a case of just turning up. They'll take the ticket. You straight and you sit where you want, don't you? They know it's not. You're not in a specific seat.
Absolutely,
So
and
you
it's
can be
7
comfy,
o'clock
you can sit high up,
kickoff.
low down.
7
There's a bar
o'clock
there.
kickoff. Yeah.
Get yourself a burger or something.
And as I
There's
say,
a bar, a couple of bars.
we'll be doing the commentary. Big Dunk says he'd probably not be there tomorrow because he's got more dates with these birds that he saw in the bar, or a hospital appointment or something like irrelevant like that. But you're going to try and get along, Big Dunk, aren't you?
I always try and get there, mate. I've been.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. But sometimes it clashes with my work as well. But now that the season's over, it should be easy.
Scotty, I want to ask you one thing. I wish Big Dunk could have been there last week because this.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I know there's one thing still puzzling me, and I am still convinced. Do you know? Can you remember 3 weeks ago when we were commentating, Duncan? You were there,
Right.
and we were playing. I forgot who.
Castillon?
Yeah, and they had that big donkey
yeah,
as a centre half. with
Castells.
Bolt. Castells.
Castells.
Yeah, number 6.
I'm telling you now, he played again last week for this other team.
I
have-
look like
did.
him, yeah.
It didn't look like him, it was him. And what was he called?
They weren't same name.
Castells.
Behave yourself.
I'm telling you now. Now it was that he's either had a transfer last two games at
Was he the
season,
same
or he's got to be his twin brother.
Really?
And
what was his mannerisms like? Was he the same?
Exactly the same.
Donkey.
Was he a
Thug.
thug? Yeah.
Scotty, am I right?
Yeah, you're 100% right.
If you'd have seen him dunk, you'd
Right
have
from the
said,
off, he was at it.
he's got to play for two teams.
Really?
Unbelievable.
I think,
Jeff.
really, really unbelievable, Jeff. I really, really do think it was probably his brother.
I think it's got to be his twin.
Yeah, he was the absolute.
He stood out from the off in that
Yeah.
game.
Well,
I saw
this
him.
guy-
Right from
About
the
the
crunching
same,
in, he
about
was
the same.
a thug. I don't know how he stayed on the
But-
pitch.
Do you know, this week I'm going to make it a point to try to find out about that this week because
Yeah.
it's really bugging me.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Big donkey that he was. Anyway, back to what we were saying.
Yeah, listen, we had a great day up there because we went in 2 hours early and we gave all the Premiership results as they
I was
happened.
watching you.
And as you might realise, Newcastle United, the magnificent Newcastle United, Gale and Jose Perez,
it's
we
making sense
slaughtered
now.
Chelsea, slaughtered them,
This
and
is
we
why
had
I
a
wanted
great.
to talk about last week's Premier League.
Yeah,
We've
it
got
was
over it, haven't we?
brilliant.
We've moved on.
We're hammered, but listen.
We're already planning for next season.
Big
and
Doug,
you wanted to talk about that.
it was really good fun because every time Liverpool scored a goal, Newcastle scored a goal.
Yeah,
Every time Newcastle scored, Liverpool scored, and we had great banter up there, didn't we?
Yeah, it was good,
to see who was going to come out. You know, I mean, we beat Chelsea 3-0. I mean, you just beat Brighton and Hove Albion. You know,
4-0.
Yeah, but I mean, come
When
on.
Salah scored, he got the goal.
Brighton, Hove Albion, and Chelsea. Come on, lads, they're not in the same league.
Well, I mean, that is an amazing result, and you must have been buzzing. I'm glad I weren't there, to be honest.
Yeah, I was.
The only disappointing from our point of view, us Scouse boys, was that Tottenham won 5-4 against Leicester.
Yeah.
I wish I'd seen that.
And you know, it was
non-stop,
it was 3-1. It was 3-1 to Leicester, Dunk, and then it was 3-2, 3-3. Then it was 4-3. Then it was 4-4.
That was the
I
game
thought-
of the
And
day.
then guess what?
Yeah.
Fuchs.
Yeah.
Fuchs scored an own
Listen,
goal.
no need for that language.
Fuchs,
Sorry.
Fuchs scored an own goal.
Did he?
And Tottenham won 5-4. I mean, Fuchs. That's all I can say.
You were saying that last Sunday, I can tell you, when that Tottenham goal went in, you were going, "Oh, Fuchs!" Yeah, I can remember
Yeah,
you.
well,
I
it's
remember
because he
you.
scored, wasn't it?
But,
Anyway, it was
but-
a good weekend all round for all us.
yeah, well, we're up there for
New
about
Geordie boys won and Liverpool won and
5 hours, and
Nothing
as I
changed
said,
at the bottom, did it?
No.
Nothing.
No, Swansea lost at home to Stoke 2-1, didn't they? And
it was
went down
all
anyway.
it was all over in about 10
that's
minutes
right,
of that game,
that
really,
goal
wasn't it?
difference
And
there,
that-
to be
I was a bit
69
disappointed.
wasn't it?
One thing I was a bit disappointed was Southampton were playing at home to Man City, and Southampton we thought were pretty safe anyway because Swansea had actually done something incredible, and Southampton they hung on 0-0. 94th minute Manchester City scored.
Devastating.
Jesus, but that give them that 100 points that they were after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 94th minute. But then again, you know, you play it last whistle, don't you?
Absolutely, 100%. And
The
as I
Manchester
said,
teams,
don't forget, 7 o'clock tomorrow, we will be there at Lanuthier. Well, we'll be there. We're doing the commentary at Lanuthier tomorrow. It's going to be a great occasion. The first time in Lanuthier's history that they're in the playoffs for the second division.
So they need the
Marvellous,
support. And then it
marvellous
gives people a chance
achievement.
to go and have a look and see what it is that we're talking about all the time for free.
Brilliant.
And yeah, after the although they lost 1-0, we knew that they'd got into playoffs, Scotty, because as we say,
Elche won.
Elche won. But as soon as the final whistle went, all the fireworks went off.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
There was fireworks. It was really, you know what Spanish are like with fireworks.
But
fantastic it was.
bear a little bit of sympathy in mind for the Lanuthier team that are going to be travelling up to Cantabria next Sunday. It's a 12-hour coach journey. I have heard that they might be flying up to San Sebastian. It's only about 2 hours from San Sebastian, but obviously this is the standard that Lanuthier are playing now. These are the leagues that...
Can you explain them briefly, the playoffs again for people that don't...
Yeah, the first 4 places in the division of the third division that Lanuthier are in this year go forward to the playoffs. There's a draw, and my understanding of it is that the 4th place teams in about 12 leagues go into a draw to play the first position in the 12 leagues.
Right.
The 2nd and 3rd places also go into a draw.
Yeah, same as our players.
Yeah. Now, if the team i.e. if Lanuthia win this, and it's a two-legged affair at 7 o'clock Sunday at Lanuthia, then next week, I don't know the exact time, up at Cantabria, if they win that game on aggregate, they go into another two-legged affair.
Right.
Okay. And if they win that, then they go into the final.
So it's a longer process than our
is.
playoffs in England.
It's two. They play two teams, obviously four legs, and then they go into the final for the second division.
Right.
And if Lanuthia was to get into the second division of Spain, this is massive for the area, lads. Absolutely massive.
I think it's might be a bit out of reach this year, but it'll be given great experience, and hopefully, it'd be great if they could get through this round.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't forget, guys, free tickets courtesy of Cool FM. If you want to go to that game tomorrow, 7 o'clock kickoff, you can pick tickets up at the Hotel Molly, and you can also pick tickets up at the Union Jack Bar in Benidorm. Hotel Molly in Alphas, Union Jack Bar in Benidorm. Please come and join us. If you see me in the Flying Pig, and we look a little bit thirsty, guys, buy a little beer.
Why, aye, man?
ELO, Mr. Blue Sky. What a great track that is, lads.
Hey, Jeff Lynne.
It never loses anything. It's fantastic. Now listen, before we go into the FA Cup final, I need to tell you something that happened last night. Local football, guys, still 2-0 to Celtic, by the way. Local football, FC Polyp Juveniles. Now, I've told you this story, Flying Pig.
By the way, everybody out there, Juveniles means the juniors, juveniles.
Under 19s. Yeah. Under 19s.
I just thought I'd clarify that.
Okay, I'm the striker coach of this particular great club.
Yeah, you tell us that each week. Yeah.
23 goals in 3 games. I am the striker coach. But listen, that's not what I'm going to tell you. I've told Flying Pig this story. In the car last night, great young lad, Aitor Cortez. Aitor Goaz Cortez. He's 2 goals behind the top scorer in the league. Last night, we had our final game of the season. And I'm in the car with Aitor. I picked them up. I brought them there. How many goals are you going to score tonight, Aitor? He says, I'm going to be looking at scoring, the Spanish guy, 2 or 3 goals. I says, that's no good, Aitor. You need to score 5 or 6. And he laughed. He laughed, Big Dunk. 5 or 6. I says, you need 5 or 6 goals. All the way in the car, up to Polyp, him and I talked about him scoring 5 or 6 goals. In the warm-up to the match, 2 guys I have to mention, Juan Cortez and Stevie Nash, great trainers. Lucy as well, she was there, brilliant, winding all the guys up, getting them pitched up, getting them motivated. I'm looking at the goalkeeper of the other team. I'm not going to tell you who the team is for the next reason.
You're looking at the goalkeeper, vibing him out?
Of the other team. And
Were you giving him evils and
staring
him out?
He was crap.
How old was this kid?
18. He was rubbish.
Yeah.
I jumped out over the barrier. I walked up to Aitor. I says, Aitor, you're going to get 6 goals tonight. He says, why is that? I says, because the goalkeeper's rubbish. Every chance you get to score a goal, shoot. Head has everything. Be greedy, selfish. We're second in the league. We can't go to first. We can't go to third. You've got 1 target, and that is to score 6 goals. Big Dunk, how many goals did he score?
7.
He scored 5. And he missed a penalty. He missed a penalty. I thought you missed a penalty. What are you playing at? He's now 2 goals ahead of the next of the league's top scorer. Fantastic. But the league's top scorer, the second place, play today. So we are begging and we're praying, even though there's no such thing as God. We're praying.
Robbie Fowler.
We're praying.
Yeah, Robbie Fowler. Yeah.
That this guy doesn't get 2 goals today. We'll give him 1. We'll even give him 0, but we don't want him to get 2 because Aitor Cortez, you have had a fantastic season. The game you played last night was masterful. The game you played on Wednesday night was masterful. You've had a great season. I love you to death. The fact you got it 5 goals last night was unbelievable.
Can I just say
Now-
one thing, Scotty, as well? Aito's been in studio with us, hasn't he?
Yes, I
Charming
know.
young man.
I know, and Javi was in the studio
Yeah.
about a month ago. Great guys. We'll love them to death. Brilliant season, FC Polyp. Local football, that's what it's all about. Talking about football, FA Cup final, guys. We haven't even discussed it yet,
No.
and it kicks off in about what? An
15
hour?
minutes.
I thought the show was going to be...
Oh, no.
An hour and 15 minutes.
An hour and
Wrong
15.
country, mate, yeah.
Yeah, an hour and 15.
Now, the big question, try not to be biased.
That's impossible.
The big question is, who's going to win the cup? Man United or Chelsea?
Manchester United.
What's got?
I don't believe you said that. Do you really believe that, Doug?
Yes.
What's going on here, Big Dunk?
I think Manchester United will win.
Why is that?
Because I think they're better than Chelsea.
Now,
Well,
let's analyse it.
obviously, if you analyse it and go over the season and you look at the Premier League, yes, they are. But Chelsea, I don't know. There's been a bit of upheaval over the last few weeks at Manchester United with the manager calling some of the players and one thing and another. And I think that after today's match that Conte will be another casualty.
Yeah.
I think he'll be gone after today's match. And I would think
Everybody's saying that.
I would
Everybody's saying
think
that.
he would like to go out on a high. I don't know. I would like to call it, to be honest with you.
Oh no, it could go either way. There's
Yeah,
no doubt
well,
about it.
well,
'Cause
any game can,
They
can't
can,
it?
especially a cup game. But
Yeah,
they're also
fine.
them two teams, like you say, in the past you would know which would be a stronger one, maybe or not. I don't know, but they're a bit inconsistent at times, aren't they? But I think Mourinho will go for this big time.
I'm going to go against you, Doug.
Yeah.
I think that though these Chelsea players are going to be up for it. And if you look at them individually, they've got some great players of Chelsea as well. I think they've underachieved this year, personally.
Yeah,
With
I
the
think
players that
you're
they've
right.
got there, they're
No.
underachieved.
Now listen, me being the great preparation man that I am,
Yeah.
and
You'll
I'm
have more
dedicated
time on your hands than
to,
us
I'm
two.
dedicated.
Well, yeah, we've to work, you haven't. Go.
I'm dedicated to this radio
You know, these
station.
writers, these
Cool
authors and
FM.
writers, they
Yeah.
just work
Sat
when
on
they
bench
want.
all day looking out.
I'll
for
tell you
Spain.
how sad I was, will you? I got up this morning and I watched the 2 games where Man United played Chelsea in February.
And I bet you
this
watched
year.
the full 90 minutes.
And no, just highlights, And Chelsea versus Man United in November. And I was looking at the 2 games, and I think that's the key to this FA Cup
You
final
think?
again. Yeah. Now,
Even though it's the cup.
yeah, absolutely. February, Man United 2, Chelsea 1. Sanchez did miss an absolute sitter then. They could have won easy, but Chelsea went in the lead. The good thing from Man United's point of view is that the defence played very well, even that donkey that you're talking about, and they restricted Chelsea to long shots.
Right.
But Chelsea had about 6 or 7 very good long shots. How many times did they hit the target?
Who's this?
Chelsea.
None.
Not
Yeah, I was
one.
gonna say none,
Not
yeah.
one. Okay.
If
We're-
he had De Gea, he'd have saved it anyway.
yeah, and that we're then, which was good from Manchester United's perspective, but we then went to the November game, and this was very interesting. It was Chelsea 1, Man United 0 in November, just before Christmas. I don't know if you can remember. Again, very poor shooting from Chelsea, very poor shooting. But this is the big factor in this game.
Go on then.
Christensen for Chelsea missed a sitter just before half time.
Right.
Hazard missed a sitter just
Right.
before half time.
So they're missing all these targets. They're
Listen,
missing all these.
Morata scored the goal just after half time. The second half, Bakakio, he missed a sitter. Hazard missed a sitter. Morata missed a sitter. Now,
So
what
this
I'm
is
going
your
to tell you,
basis for them winning the final then?
what I'm trying to tell you over the 2 games this season,
Yeah.
current, okay, I think Chelsea, even though Man United won 1 game and Chelsea won the other,
Yeah.
I think Chelsea was by far and away the better team.
Right.
The better team. Now, if Chelsea can get their shooting boots on in an hour and 15 minutes time, I think we might see a 3 or a 4-0, 4-1 in favour of Chelsea.
Well, let's hope so.
Well, do you know, something's just coming to my mind, and it's nothing. It's not particularly anything to do with cup final today.
It's not,
well, it
not
is.
to do with your takeaway
No,
tonight,
it
is
is.
it?
But
It's
no,
not them birds that
No,
Big Dunk was with.
Don't be going-
I was on
we'll get
Facebook the
killed.
other day, and I just happened to come across a video that somebody had posted, and it was about a Manchester United supporter. and somebody had filmed him.
It's not that one that was swearing.
Yes, did you see it? I won't go in, obviously I can't go into the expletives because the expletives were every other word. And he was saying, you call this progress, is that the one, Dunk?
Yeah,
Did you see it?
I saw it.
You call this progress, you got, they're not, progress. But the one thing that stuck in my head, if we go out next week, he says, but I'll tell you something now, if we don't win that FA Cup, call it progress, we've gone backwards. And if them scouts win that cup next week, happy. I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You remember seeing that? Yeah.
But the thing that he was 100% right with is that I think last season they were about 4 points behind Man City, 6 points. This season they're 19.
Yes,
yeah.
That's what he said.
And what he was saying that's not progress. And Mourinho's trying to say it's progress. We're second in the league. Blah blah blah. But
so you two are going for Chelsea.
I'm going for Chelsea.
And you know, I support two teams in this world.
Yes.
Right. I support Liverpool.
Yes.
And anybody that's playing Manchester United. Right. But that's just the way it is. You know what it's like. Manchester United supporters think the same way about Liverpool. I don't know who Manchester United supporters hate worse, Liverpool or Leeds. It's quite debatable, is that?
Van Morrison, Spanish Rose, which leads us nicely, gentlemen. And you can always tell when you've got a classy DJ the way he leads into certain songs. Spanish Rose, Van Morrison.
He's not a cool pundit now, is he?
No.
Yeah. Don't what you think.
Changes every week,
He's a no end to this man's talent.
It's amazing, isn't he?
Do you know, I often think that myself, Flying Pig. I often think that myself.
God,
but listen,
my hero.
Listen, Spanish Rose, Van Morrison. Now, we're about to discuss the Spanish World Cup squad. I mean, it's a wonderful lead-in.
Absolutely.
Go on then.
Absolutely.
Lead away.
I mean, we should have led into Donkey to the England squad, but I couldn't find that track, but never mind. Okay, Spanish Rose. Three fabulous goalkeepers, Flying Pig. You as a goalkeeper aficionado, an old pro as a goalkeeper, the best in the world, De Gea.
Without any shadow of a doubt.
Amazing goalkeeper.
Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the greatest goalkeepers ever seen.
And could we say, listen, we haven't really had much of a pop at Man United today, but I'm going to do it now.
Go on, then.
Can we really say that if it hadn't been for De Gea in the last 2 or 3 years at Man United, they would have been mid-division?
I was just going to say that. I 100% agree. Don't you, John?
Yeah, he's done so much.
He has won them so many games. It is unbelievable.
They must be so glad that transfer fell through when he was looked like he was going to Real Madrid.
And listen, a nice little reserve keeper in Pepe Reina.
What a goalkeeper!
Brilliant.
Great pro.
So you've heard it here first on Cool FM. We're already enthusing about the Spanish team.
Proposed team.
Proposed team.
Yeah.
It's not officially announced till Monday.
That's what the Spanish media is saying.
And there's only 20 players there, and of course it can take 25. Big Dunk.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it not 23?
20. I was going to say 24.
23.
Is it 23?
23, yeah.
I thought it was 25.
No, it's 23.
Same as the Premiership?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll stand corrected. So there's 3 players not on there. What do you think of the defenders?
Well, I'll come in here. I think when you read these names out, you think about the defenders that we've talked about. England, listen to this. Danny Carvajal, fantastic player. Yeah. Nacho Fernandez, don't know too much about him, but what about these 3? Sergio Ramos, Gerald Piqué and Jordi Alba. Incredible
that
players.
That defence with that goalkeeper.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That back 4 and the goalkeeper is probably best by far. Now, we talk about that, you talk them names and then you talk about the, England players. They're not England players, they're not in the same class. There's so much talent.
Can we even pick a back 4 for him? I don't think we even did we?
These guys have got so much talent, they've got so much experience, they're unbelievable.
Do we even want to go into the midfield?
I suppose we'll have to, really.
Busquets and Iniesta, Silva. Isco, Lucas Vasquez, incredible Thiago
down there.
Thiago.
Koke, I mean incredible.
Vasquez,
I mean, listen, Flying Pig, I have to agree with you for once. when these names trip off your tongue for Spain, and we've only talked about the defence and the midfield, and you compare them to the England squad, that there's none of us have been too enamoured over, have we?
No, but when you look at that, you're envious already, aren't you?
Oh,
that Lucas Vazquez, that's the Real Madrid winger, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been linked to Liverpool a bit as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few former Spanish professionals that are really talking about him a lot at the moment, Vazquez, that he should be going to the World Cup. So if he is included and he is involved, that's because people maybe won't know much about him. I think he could be like a bit of a decent player to watch.
I think the only well, not a drawback, but the only little bit of sticking point is when you do go to the forwards. I know we're only going to mention 3 because this is just a suggested team. They might bring other teams in, as you say, because it's not announced till Monday. But it's just like 3 forwards: Diego Costa, Aspas, and Rodriguez Marino. That doesn't really.
No, you're 100%
Aspas is
right.
a great player, though.
Yeah.
He's Celta Vigo, isn't he?
He's Celta Vigo.
Celta
And he
Vigo.
was. I think he's the leading Spanish striker in La Liga this season, I believe.
Okay.
The other big 3 were above him. Messi, Ronaldo, and Suarez. I think he came 4th, and I think he was a couple behind Ronaldo.
Okay.
But it doesn't.
Well, he did nothing at Liverpool. Do you remember when he was at Liverpool?
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
to
it was,
chip him
yeah.
in, but do you remember
Was he at Liverpool?
He was at Liverpool and he was dreadful.
Yeah,
he
he
wasn't
was.
really given a chance, but he was. You can't believe how his career has changed now that since he's left. He's gone to Celta Vigo, like you said. They're only mid-table. I think they're about 11th or something like that. Maybe even 12th. And to get that many goals, I think he got 5 or 6 assists as well in the Liga. He's really a decent player. Small, very small.
But the forward line doesn't instill fear into you, does
No,
it really?
and could
be honest.
dare we say Costa's past his
I
sell-by?
can't stand him.
No.
Well, not a lot of people
Well,
can. The one thing he's got,
But that doesn't matter, does it? Because he's an hard player, and that's the.
he's got aggression, hasn't he?
Exactly.
But he's
a leader.
if
isn't
you're
he?
a
So he gets-
defender, if you're Harry Maguire or if you're Phil Jones,
against Costa,
he's
you
the
wouldn't
last
wanna- you wouldn't
person you
wanna
want to
be
be
up
up
against
against
him, would you?
because
Can
he
you-
is. He's vicious. He's aggressive. And let's be honest, lads, he scores goals.
Oh, he
Yeah.
does,
He
yeah.
gets goals.
Can you imagine Diego Costa against Phil Jones?
Yeah,
Well, I
we'll
don't
have
want to
see.
really. I don't want to
And,
even think about that.
Moreno, he's the Valencia centre forward. He's had a great season this year. But yeah, I mean, what we have to remember there is there is only 20 players on that
Where's
list.
Morata?
Well, again,
Well, yeah, he's not
Morata's
there, but I would think that he
he's
might
got
come
to
into the
come
reckoning.
in.
Morata
He's got
from
to come
Chelsea.
in.
Yeah, Morata, yeah.
He's got to come in. But yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree with you. Well, then again, if you push Morata into that forward selection, then any 2 from 4 there, you've got to say that they're up to it. But wonderful selection in midfield.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, talk to me.
Looking at that Spanish World Cup squad, or suggested World Cup squad, because we don't know till Monday, and then looking at the England World Cup squad, I wish I was Spanish.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. And the thing is, as well, I think that a lot of their players, are not. I think they're not as detached from the fans as the English players are. I think a lot of the England players are. I can't explain. Like that typical modern footballer, which I've said before about England in past tournaments, where the English players sometimes look like they think they have every right to be there, they deserve to be there. They don't seem to connect with the fans very much. I think that the Spanish players are a bit more grounded still, maybe not some of the biggest names, but I don't think they're all posers. I don't think they're all about the bling and everything. I think they seem to have a different mentality, I think, the Spanish than the English players that we've been used to in the last couple of tournaments.
And
Well, don't you think that goes the whole world over in every aspect of?
But
Yeah.
they do seem to want to play for their team. I agree with you, Big Dunk. I had a cheeky little 50 quid on Spain at 9-1 about 18 months ago.
And what are they now?
6-1 now.
Sixes, yeah.
And
What are England, Scotty?
I think they're
I'll
about.
find that out for you.
I think they're about
About-
12s.
I was going to say 14.
I think they're about 12s or
That's-
14s.
Who are the favourites, by the way?
The favourites are Germany.
Germany, yeah.
Germany.
Thought they would be, yeah.
But it promises to be a great World Cup. We're only about a month away now, guys.
Oh, I can't wait for it. I don't want to
It'll
miss
be
anything.
great, and
Can
obviously we'll be bringing you Obviously, little shows like this during the World Cup, whenever England's playing, whenever Spain's playing, we'll be here in the studio giving our views, a little bit punditry, a little bit forecast of the games. And you know, if you are off to the airport and you want to tune into Cool FM and keep up to date with the World Cup and the World Cup scores, we'll be here, gentlemen, won't we?
We will, mate. We'll be here.
Can the pig just ask you two gentlemen a question?
You can ask it, but don't mean we'll answer it.
What? Who you got them girls' phone numbers that the big dunk was
no,
How
speaking
did
to?
you know I was going to ask him that?
Okay, tell what. Speak those.
How far do you think England will go?
I don't think they'll get out of the group stage. To be
You
perfectly
don't?
honest.
You don't think they'll progress?
No.
Don't?
No.
I've just they've got to get out of the group. I mean, if not, it'd be just so embarrassing. But it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. But
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's they should come. They should
No
win the first two
confidence from the Englishmen. No confidence from the Scousers. With all the Liverpool players in this squad, and you heard it here on Cool FM, they aren't very confident. Big Dunk said, I'd like to think they'd get out of the group stages, but he wasn't very convincing.
I
was
want
he?
Panama
Right,
to
Big?
do well. I want Panama to do well. This first time they've qualified, isn't it? And if you look up on YouTube, just the goal that Panama scored to seal their qualification for the finals, and watch the celebrations of not only of the players but the commentary team and everything, is absolute football gold, honestly. So
Brilliant.
I
We'll have
hope
to
Panama
watch that. We'll have to
do
watch
well.
that. We'll take a wee bit of music. What have we got coming up for you? We've got some Jam, we've got some U2, we've got some Steve Miller Band and Lisa Stansfield. No, they might just be getting kicked into touch. We'll bring you some news from Hampden Park. It is the Scottish Cup final, as you know. It's 11 minutes into the game. Flying Pig, what's happened? There's been a goal.
Yeah, Celtic have got ahead already after 10 minutes. It's Celtic 1, Motherwell 0.
Yeah, Celtic have met Motherwell 4 times
It's
in the
McGregor
Scottish
after 11 minutes, yeah.
In the Scottish Cup final. Motherwell have never won. They lost this to Celtic in the League Cup final earlier in the season as well. It's been the worst possible start for those lads from Motherwell. The Verve, lucky man. We've got some great music coming up today. We've got U2, we've got Dido, we've got Undertones, we've got Van Morrison, Ian Jury and the Blockheads. Buzzcock Madness, just to name a few. We're naming a few players in the England World Cup squad today. We've had a little bit of a conflab about it, and we're going to start with the goalkeepers. I'm going to throw the question open to you boys. Number one goalkeeper, who is it?
Right, well, I'll set off here. We've got Jack Butland, Jordan Pickford,
Mackham, he's a Mackham.
and Nick Pope.
He kind of go into the team.
It's got to be between two of them.
Listen to me, they've got 9 caps between the three of them. 9 caps. Now, there's one thing over the years whether the England team's been...
I know exactly what you're going to say.
they've been good, they've been mediocre, or they've been not so good. But we've always had a pretty good goalkeeper over the years. Now, I'm not saying that these lads are good goalkeepers, but to talk about inexperience, it's unbelievable.
So should Hart have been in, do you think?
I don't know, because he's played little football, has he? He's played little Premiership football, and his form's not been right great lately.
Experience, though, that's the thing.
But experience, I personally think he should have gone.
Yeah.
Not necessarily whether he should have played, but I think his experience would have been vital for the other kids, that the other goalkeepers.
You should be in that squad, Flying Pig, shouldn't
But
you?
I think, I wish. But I probably could do as good as some of them. But seriously, I would have taken him for his experience behind the scenes, looking after the other couple of keepers. I think that
You've got a lot of shampoo and that for the showers as well, you know.
But I think Jack Butland will be the number one. But 7 caps, I don't know. I've kept my eye on them. I've been watching them this year, and they are, all the 3 of them are outstanding keepers, to be honest with you. They are good, but they have had a couple of 2 or 3 games each this year where they have made mistakes in it's cost the side. So
Championship player, England's number 1, huh?
Yep.
Championship
Do you know
player.
what? I think he could end up at Liverpool. Yeah, but it's whether or not he'd be happy to, be considered a number 2 or not. I'm not so sure that he would be because of his England aspirations, but I think there's a good chance he could end up at Liverpool.
But listen, I have to agree with you, Flying Pig. When you brought those statistics up, I couldn't believe it. They've got 9 caps between the 3 of them. Incredible. I think Nick Pope's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's done very well this year.
Peter Shilton is a big fan of Nick Pope.
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter, and he's constantly talking him up.
I think he's a great goalkeeper.
But for me, the my keeper out of them 3, I like Jordan Pickford. I do like.
No, he's a Mackham.
Hey,
Jordan, poor little Mackham.
I think Jordan Pickford is going to be a fantastic goalkeeper, but the key thing there is going to be. So I think Butland will get.
He's 24 now, Big Dunk. He's hardly a 19-year-old.
But that's a babby in it for a goalkeeper.
Yeah, true. I mean, how old's the other kid?
25.
All right.
But
They're all about the same
26.
age then.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think Butland's obviously going to be the
yeah,
first. I don't know if that's been confirmed.
Right, listen, moving on to the defenders, because I want to ask you guys, I don't know an awful lot about them, but you guys, you're Scouse guys,
Cool.
so Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh, he's a babby, isn't he?
How old is he?
19.
Yeah, 19.
And should he be there? And what sort of impacts he had on Liverpool this year?
He's very, very popular with the fans, and it's not just because he's a local boy or anything like that. He's very, very popular. They think that he comes in, he does a job, he works hard, and he's very popular for club. Whether he should be included at the international thing, I guess he's the one that people were probably really surprised with. But again, I think going back to what the Flying Pig was saying earlier, there's a lot of talk about some of these, being a youth squad, if you like, and more thinking about the future, and maybe that's why they've included some of these young uns.
But they've got a nice mix in there, Duncan, in that midfield, because they've got the old boys in there. They've got Ashley Young, age 32. They've got Cahill in age 32, and then they've got the likes of Alexander-Arnold at 19.
Yeah.
So they've got a mix in there, but I haven't seen an awful lot of.
I wouldn't be concerned about him if he turned out for England, if he had to play or anything. Honestly, he's a good little player.
But you've got Scouse eyes. That's your trouble.
But I'm not biased. I'm not like you when it comes to Newcastle.
Me biased?
Sunderland and things like that. I'll be honest. If someone's pants, I'll tell you.
Can I just say one thing looking at these defenders?
Go on then.
Gary Kyle, yeah, he's a steady player. Again, he can be caught out now and again. But the biggest person that, from my
I know what you're going to say, Phil
point
Jones.
of view, shouldn't be there.
Phil
and it's
Jones.
not because he plays for Manchester United, but I have said for years that he's played for United the last few years. Phil Jones is one of the biggest donkeys I have ever seen.
Burro!
ever. Dodo.
Burro is the donkey
So you're
word
not
for
a fan
Spanish.
is what you're saying.
No, I think he's absolutely atrocious. I don't think he's even skillful. He's not. He's just like that.
Alright, mate.
I don't know.
What's your blood pressure?
No, well, I can't. I've got to say this.
Listen, Flying Pig, do you not like him?
I've never liked
You
him.
don't like him,
As a player, I think
Stop
he's
sitting on the fence,
he's
Flying
a
Pig.
donkey.
He's first choice, isn't he?
He's a donkey.
Good Lord. And do you know what? Looking at his age, 26, I've got to be honest, I thought he's a bit older than
I
that.
thought he was about 30.
He looks about 44.
So we're not too impressed with the defence.
I am.
Apart from your little man, the 19-year-old.
Well, I don't think we were impressed with the goalkeepers. We were a bit inexperienced there.
Right,
all we're doing is knocking them out. We are.
I
feel a bit guilty.
We've had a little chat about the midfielders.
Harry Maguire, you said like you said, you don't think he's.
I don't think he's quality for the international level. I really
We'll
don't.
just run through quickly. Danny Rose, yeah, he's pretty steady.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. John Stones, good player. Makes too many mistakes for me.
Yeah.
He gets caught out time and time again, and he's playing in a great side at Manchester City and gets away with it a lot of times.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right, Kieran Trippier from Tottenham. I like that boy. I think he's a good steady fullback him, and he's good at going forward as well. Again, Kyle Walker as well. I like him as well. I quite like them too. They're both like fullbacks, wing backs, fullbacks going forward. But then again, you know, they won't always be going forward.
The good news is, Flying Pig, Big Dunk, is that they're only going to be playing about 3 or 4 of those guys. So
They might only be playing 3 matches. They might not even play anymore.
So they're not necessarily going to be pushing Phil Jones and Harry Maguire in there. They might just be a little bit of a backup for Southgate. Wish we were flies on the wall in Southgate's office to know what he really thought and what his starting 11 was going to be. But we're not over impressed with them. We've talked a little bit about the midfielders. The forwards. Let's move on to the forwards. We're coming 10 minutes before the top of the hour.
Well, they're with defenders. We're going into midfielders now, aren't we?
We've already talked about the midfielders, man.
Yeah, well, we have, yeah.
Dele Alli and Dyer and Henderson.
Yeah, you're right.
But the forwards now. Listen, this is the one area of the England team where I'm quite positive about it. I mean, let's be honest about it. I'm a Scotland man, and there's no Geordies in the team. But you know, when England play Kazakhstan or someone, I do want England to win. You know, when they play Spain, I'll be wanting Spain to win. But listen, forward line: Harry Kane, Vardy, Rashford, Sterling, Danny Welbeck, good forwards.
Raheem Sterling.
Let's see Raheem Sterling do it for England when he's not surrounded by all them Man City
Just let me
players.
tell you. Just let me give you a stat here, right? The 2 most capped players in the squad, right, that we're talking about is Raheem Sterling with 37 caps and Danny Welbeck with 37 caps, right? They're the most capped players in this England squad. Raheem Sterling's got 37 caps and he's scored how many goals?
I can see
2.
it there, mate.
2.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known.
2, and he's a forward.
Yeah.
Desperate.
That's what I'm saying. He might be able to do it at Man City. He's looking better there these days. But can he do it when he's on an international level, when he's surrounded by these kind of players and not the ones
Time will tell, gentlemen. Time will tell.
Danny Welbeck is 37 caps, but
he's a bit hit and miss,
like he's
but
27-year-old, he's been
got-
in and out, he's got 15 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Vardy, 21 caps, 7 goals, which is quite a good return.
Yeah,
I like Vardy.
I like Vardy.
He's a good, you know,
I like Vardy.
he is one player that will give it his all.
And I love Harry Kane.
That's exactly the type of player I was meaning earlier when I said what players in that squad are the ones that you know would run through a brick wall for them, and he is one that you would imagine to do that.
Yeah, and Harry Kane. I love Harry Kane. Absolutely adore him.
Yeah, Harry Kane, he's a great player. We all know what he's capable of doing. He's obviously our main man.
And that's
Do you think he'll be captain as well, I think, do you?
Possibly, but that's a decent return as well. He's got a 50% percentage there, isn't he? It's a decent return at international
and
level.
The boy Rashford, I love that kid, but I'm not so sure that it's set for him. I'm just looking at his stats there. It's saying 17 caps, 2 goals, isn't it? So, but I really do like Rashford. I do like him, but I can't see him.
Vardy and Harry Kane up front for me starting.
Yeah, and I think that's when you look when you say that, that's when you think, that's it. Now
that sounds all right. When you actually do put a team sheet down of 11 and disregard the rest, that doesn't seem too bad, does it? Having Kane and Vardy up front.
Just the other 9 we're worried about. Okay, listen guys, we're coming up the top of the hour. There's about 7 minutes to go. So again, we're going to take a wee bit of music. We'll pass the top of the hour and we'll be back with some more banter on football. And we promise we won't mention the royal wedding. Our House Madness, fantastic tune, Flying Pig and Big Dunk. There's been
a bit of Suggs, you can't beat a bit of Suggs like that.
He's fantastic, but listen, a few people lost their jobs last week, wasn't it?
Yes.
Last week, this week.
Been busy.
Now I didn't realise you've just flagged it up there, Flying Pig. Carlos Carvalhal from Swansea, he got the pedal yesterday, didn't he? That wasn't on the news, was it?
I think, do you know what? I think I did see it flash up late last week, but I think it overwent me anyway.
Well, the last 24 hours or so, we work and sleep and work and sleep. I've not seen a right lot, but Carlos Carvalhal, Swansea City gone.
I'm not feeling sorry for you, Flying Pig.
It was only 141 days he lasted.
Okay, Paul Lambert on Wednesday, I believe. Oh no, at the same time, he was gone. And what was the big two? Who were the big two that went this
So
week as
Paul
well?
Lambert and Carvalho went yesterday, and then on the 16th.
These are the two surprising
3
ones.
days ago. Well,
I'm not surprised.
no, I'm not
Allardyce,
surprised.
You,
It
Sam
might
Allardyce
surprise you,
is-
Scotty, but I think it were on the cards. David Moyes at West Ham's gone, and Allardyce has gone from Everton.
Well, let's talk about Allardyce first. Now, Big Dunk's just come in there and says, I'm not surprised. I'm amazed
I told
that
you.
this
We
guy
had this
came
conversation
in.
about 4 or 5 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
he came in to do a job. And
he did it.
He's done an incredible job. What did they finish? Eighth.
Eighth, I think.
Eighth. They were in the relegation or just above the relegation zone when he took over 167 days ago. He's not going to be crying too much because he's walked away with 12 million for 167
depends whether
days.
you believe it's 6 million, 8 million, 12. Even if it was 6 million, right, which you could say it's bad management by Everton. I was reading that if it was if they'd have not sacked him and that 6 million had been put towards discounts on season tickets, each fan would have saved £200 off the cost of the season ticket.
It's scandalous. It is absolutely
And at the end of the day,
scandalous.
but the fans didn't like him.
No, I
They
don't
didn't like
know.
his style, and I don't think they took to him at all.
I think you're right there, Doug. He come in to do a job. And they actually, if I do believe right, going back to when they took him on 167 days ago, that they actually were going to I think David Moyes was only given was it 6 months he got?
I don't know how his contract
Well,
must
Man
have been.
United.
No, at West Ham. It was only a
Ah,
short
right,
term
okay.
one. Where Allardyce, who only wanted to give him a short term one.
Oh, sorry, we were talking about Moyes then.
Yeah, no, I was just saying Moyes was only on a
I
short term.
think he was on a
one.
year one, or something
Well, I
like
think
that. It was
even-
short.
I think it was even less than that.
Because they haven't sacked him technically, have they? I think they've just not renewed it. Is that right?
Well, I think so, yeah. But whereas Allardyce, they were going to do the same with Allardyce as Everton, but he stuck out and said, no, if you want me, you're going to have to give me a couple of year contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I think where Moyes, I think you're right, it says he's sacked, but I think his contract's run out and he's gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was damn near at the end.
But this is
But
where
whereas
Allardyce is
Allardyce has
daft,
been
isn't he?
sacked.
Now he's got that money as a result of that.
But-
How do they word it when they both go and they're not by mutual consent?
Mutual consent, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But Allardyce, I think you're right, Doug. His face didn't fit.
No.
But he did his job, and he did. But if you were an Everton supporter, right, thank God I'm not,
Yeah.
you know, thank God I'm from other side of Stanley Park, if you will. But if you were an Everton supporter, would you want Sam Allardyce as your manager next year, thinking that you might go and win something?
No.
Scotty?
Well, this is a funny one for me because
Has he ever won anything?
Because listen, he's
the
he's
style
won
of play.
things.
It's got
But
to be
listen, now this
entertaining.
is the argument, the style of play. Now you guys are lucky because
Right.
you've supported a club that have won FA Cups, they've won league titles, they've won European Cups.
We've won everything. Come
Yeah, I've been with a team, and I'm just giving you my
This is
opinion
Everton
here.
we're talking about,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I've been with a team who haven't won a major domestic trophy since 1969. And I have to say, if you said to me, Sam Allardyce will be your manager next year and you will win the FA Cup, I wouldn't care what kind of football he played. If we won a trophy, I'd want that
Can I
manager.
just say one
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
If Sam Allardyce was your manager next year, you would not win anything.
Well, no, but that's a different argument.
No, it's not.
Because the point was that, you know, if Everton fans had Sam Allardyce, Big Dunk said it, and they won something next year, you know, would they want them
He's
there?
the sort
Would
of
they-
person that could win a cup, innit? A domestic cup.
Well, what has he won?
But would you trust him with the money? And I think Everton are a bit flush, aren't they? They've got a bit of money, and they've just gone this week signing with his release. They've also made some changes, haven't they? Right through the club at the top, the senior manager. They've changed they've got a new CEO and things like that. And so they're really going for this.
But listen, I have
complete
to tell you, he is not only is he laughing all the way to the bank,
literally.
but next year he's just going to be sitting back. And he's just going to be waiting until one of the clubs flirt with relegation. They're going to sack their manager,
And they'll do it all over again.
And they're going to say, "Send for Sam." He is going to be laughing his head off because he's
Who
going
do
to
we
be
think's
working.
going to go? Who's going to go? I haven't seen anything about the.
No, I haven't. Well, obviously.
Oh, the Watford kid, the guy that was at Watford, Silver,
Yeah,
is it?
totally.
Silver, yeah, Silver.
I think he's in, and then you've got West Ham. Who's going there? Rafa then.
No, bite your tongue, boy. Bite your tongue. Rafa is going to stay where he is.
I've got a question for you.
yeah.
Right, I'll ask you because
Yeah.
you're independent. Right.
Right, go on
Which
then.
is the bigger club, Newcastle United or West Ham United?
Oh, by far Newcastle.
Yeah, I agree. Don't worry.
No,
no,
seriously.
I've looked at him down here. He's like, look, he's going to
No,
smack
seriously.
one of us.
There's no comparison.
And I saw this was asked on social media by one of the major news things. I think it might have been Sky Sports News or something. That West Ham fans actually think they're a bigger club than Newcastle.
No
and
way.
think that Rafa would lead. Now I know that Rafa's situation with Ashley and things like that, and the budget is a big deal up there. But come on. Newcastle they might not be successful, but they're a huge club, aren't they?
Sleeping giant.
I would put Newcastle within the top 6 and 7 of the country.
Yeah. I've always wanted to have your babies, Flying Pig.
No,
I love you to death.
If Rafa's not going to West Ham, it's going to be Manuel Pellegrini.
Yeah. Possibly. Very, very interesting discussions. We're coming up to the top of the hour. Don't forget, it's a very, very short show today. We've only got about 35 minutes left. Flying Pig, give us the Celtic score. Is it still 2-0?
It's half time, it's still
time.
2-0, yeah.
And who were the goal scorers?
The goal scorers were... you think you're testing...
Oh, he's got it!
McGregor...
Oh, he's got it, you got it! How did you do that?
Natcham.
Because
I looked away, I looked back and they were there.
Listen, you're talking to me.
You really should have more women in your life with a touch
he's
like
a good
that.
Man. As was said, Celtic have met Motherwell 4 times in the Scottish FA Cup final, and they've won every one. They met earlier in the season in the League Cup, and Celtic won that again. Motherwell are 2-0 down at half time at Hampden Park. It's not looking good, lads, is it?
And will things change next year with Stevie G?
They might just do. I'd love to see it. I tell you what, I'd love it. I'd really love it.
I'd love it.
I'd love it. Let's take some music. What's happened?
TMR, your British-owned and operated mobility rental company in Benidorm. TMR stock over 70 fully insured quality mobility scooters to suit all needs, from small away